beautiful. Welcome to the fourth live session of the Command Center Challenge. I'm Suzanna Kaye, Professional Organizer, and I'm so excited to have you with me. Let me make sure really quickly that the link for our live is showing up. Actually, I just realized in all of our links, but I'm super glad that you're here. Today, we are talking about the flow of your stuff. So we're talking about all of those kind of drop zones and piles that start getting created, the paper flow, if you're having any trouble with piles of papers happening or papers moving through your space, and how to use your command center to make that so much better. So that's the goal for today. If you're joining me, I would love to hear who you are, where you're joining me from, and whether you're on YouTube or in the Facebook group or on the Facebook page. Hopefully you can all see me, and just let me know who you are, where you're joining me from. And today is actually day 6 of the challenge. So in the challenge, we have decided all of the supplies and what we want to store in our command center. We designed it. We have started putting it together. This weekend, you might be catching up and doing all of that this weekend. That is absolutely okay. And there's no deadline. So if you wanted, there's a challenge checklist, and I would love it if you wanted to download that. So once the challenge is over, then you will have that available. Let me just update this link really quickly. And there. So I realized that I forgot to update one of the links. There we go. So the challenge checklist, let me find the link for that really quickly to put that on the screen. There we go. All right, so hey, Cindy. I see Cindy's here from Memphis, Tennessee. Welcome, welcome. We'll have a bunch of other people hopping on any moment now because I just updated that link. I'm sorry if you tried to hop on and it told you that you were early. That was all me. But download the challenge checklist. It is free if you wanted to keep the whole checklist and all the tasks from this challenge after it's taken down from the Facebook group. It will be in the Facebook group guides section for at least another week. So at least through next weekend, if not longer. So you still have plenty of time. I would also love to find out, as you're building your command centers, what step you're on, how far have you gotten? Have you finished it? Are you working on it this weekend? I'd love to find out all of that information from you. So since this is a live and it's interactive, feel free, ask me any comments that you might have, any questions that you might have in the comments section, and I can answer those for you. You might hear some bells and things in the background. The puppy is in full force today. She is wound up and I can't get her tired out. So you might get to see a little bit of the puppy today too. All right, so today, like I mentioned, we are talking about the flow of your papers, the flow of your stuff through your command center and through your home. What I like to do, I call it organizing forensics. So you may have heard me talk about organizing forensics before. And the way organizing forensics works, this is what any good professional organizer will do. One of the questions I got asked the most whenever I was about to meet a new client and work with them in their home, back when I worked one-on-one with people over the past 16 plus years, I think it is now, or so, they'd always ask what they needed to do to prepare, or they would try to get things cleaned up and organized before I got there. And I would always tell them, please, whatever you do, don't do anything different before I get there, because I like to do some organizing forensics when I get there, which means I walk around their home in their most active areas and I see where the piles are, what's in the piles, what areas aren't being used efficiently, what things seem to be homeless. And all of that tells me, as a professional organizer, much more than they could ever tell me. Because we might think that one thing is happening in our home, but when we really look at our space, it might be something completely different than what we think. So when you're looking at your home and your space, you want to look to see where there are piles of things accumulating that aren't in the right place and what's in those piles. If you're walking around and you don't necessarily even see the piles or the clutter, a lot of times what I do, I just grab my phone and I take pictures of my space. There's something about taking a photo of your space that all of a sudden you see things that you don't normally even notice anymore. So that's what I do sometimes when I feel like there's, like everything feels like it's kind of off, but I don't really know why. I'll take pictures of my space and I look at the pictures and I'm like, oh, I did not even notice. That shelf on my bookshelf has gotten really cluttered and I don't even see it anymore because it's there in front of me every day. So I just don't notice. So take pictures of your space, notice where things are tending to accumulate. And then once you figure out where those spots are and what types of items are ending up in those spots, you can really look at that and go, okay, so is it because these items don't have another home? So when you're looking at those items, go, where does this belong? And if you're not sure, well, that's probably why it's ending up in a pile, because it's homeless. You're not positive it's not been given its own space. Or you might have a space for it, but maybe that space is difficult to access quickly. So if it's an item that you're using a lot, or maybe an item that you don't use often, but you happened to use it, well, maybe wherever it belongs is just difficult to put away. Now, if it's something that you rarely use and it didn't get put away, then that's not a big concern, because if it's rarely used, it's okay for it to be difficult to put away. We don't want those just once in a while things in our main area that's easy to reach. We want the daily stuff in the easy to reach spots. But if it's a daily item and it's complicated to put it away, then that's when you might want to look and see if maybe there's a spot in a command center, or you can create a mini command center in another area for items like that. Or maybe you can make putting the space that it belongs a little bit easier. And then when you see the dump spots, think, okay, well, why this spot? Maybe it's the kitchen counter. And if papers start to accumulate on the kitchen counter a lot, which is really, really common, you can wonder, okay, well, is this just the first place that it's easiest to put things down when you first come in from the car or wherever you come in from? And if that's the case, maybe that's where you should put your action file. Now, if you don't already have the action file, all of my Paper Path members know exactly what the action file is. That's milestone 1 in your Paper Path. You've probably already got it set up. If you don't know what the action file is, that's your incoming papers file system that can handle absolutely every incoming paper. And wherever you put this, it does not have to look exactly like this. In the command center, I've shown you where you could have it hanging on a wall. You could have multiple bins on the wall. But you need to put this in a space that's kind of along that easy path. And you probably want to put a trash can and maybe even a shredder or recycle bin near wherever this is, so that way that does not all accumulate. But keeping the action file in a walkway that's near that path. So if it's all landing on the kitchen counter, maybe for a while your action file goes on the kitchen counter, or maybe it goes right near the front door. Hey, Carla. Oh, Elaine says, yes, it's a lifesaver, right? It's just amazing. Everybody loves this. Once they get used to using it, it's just one of the best things. So if you are setting up your command center, then make sure that the paper part of your command center, your action file or whatever you're using to grab papers into one place, make sure that that is near that pathway when you come in your home. Hey, Andrea, good morning. Good to see you. So that is part of my forensics though. That's how I sort of figure out what types of things are having problems in the home and how to sort of correct that and try to make that better. Now, if you have any questions, remember, ask me in the comments. I would also love to hear in your command centers, are you storing papers there? Are you doing your incoming papers in your command center, or do you have an action file along that pathway? Also, give me a like or show me some love if you've been enjoying the challenge and these lives, because if you're enjoying them, then I want to make sure to do more live sessions for you and give you all sorts of the mental side of organizing, which I absolutely love to talk about. So give me a like, give me some love, show me if you've been enjoying it. Hey, Judy. See, Judy's here, and Elaine says that hers is on her desk and she's using it for her center. That's awesome. That is perfect. So you are already rocking this one, Elaine. I love it. All right, so we talked about the forensics. Another thing that I find that creates more of the piles and chaos are large containers or large areas that are not defined. So as far as large bins, if you, for example, had your kitchen counter and you had a big basket on your kitchen counter for all of the incoming mail and random stuff, then most likely that large basket is also going to accumulate a bunch of other stuff. If you've not said it's only for mail and paper, then it's going to start gathering everything. And the larger the bin, the more you're just going to fill it up before you even notice. And it's going to become more and more random and then probably overwhelming. So using smaller containers for very specific items, giving everything its own intention and making it only right sized is really helpful. So that's another reason why something like the action file is really helpful. Instead of having just a basket to put all papers in, the action file, it tells you what the next action is for that paper. Is it something you have to do? Do you have to file it? Do you have to enter it somewhere else? Do you have to read it? Everything has an intention. So you are most likely going to put the right papers in the right spot because it's all clearly labeled. You've created the intention for each one of these folders, and they're nice broad categories, but they're right sized. So your action file is not a whole file drawer. It's 10 or fewer file folders. So having it right sized, so it's not going to accumulate more because it's got the extra space, and having a very clear intention. If you have, for example, on your counter, maybe a small container that is only for spare change and your keys, then that's perfect because you know only spare change and keys go in here. If anything else goes in there, then you'll feel like it's not quite right and you can instantly identify it and pull it out and keep that intention for the item. But if it was a huge container for keys and change, it's probably going to gather everything else that you aren't sure what the home is for it, and it just lands there by default. Let's see. So Judy says that she always enjoys the live feeds. Yay! Thank you for them. You're so welcome. I'm hoping to do more and more of them for you guys too, especially if you're in the paper path. I just added on a whole lot more live sessions for the Pathfinders, and it's going to be super fun because we're going to go really into not just the how-to with our paper organizing, but the mental side. So those aha moments. I want to share more of those with you. Liz says that she needs to get started again. This is super motivating. Yay! I love it. Hey, Susan, Sujeen, welcome. Mary says, still a work in progress. Hey, practice makes progress, right? We're not going for perfect. We're going for perfectly imperfect. We just want it to work. But by practicing, we're making progress every single day. We're not going for perfect. Hey, Carla says she really appreciates the live. She feels more motivated by hints. Yay! I love hearing that. Thank you. Judy's refocusing on the weekly review, which she got away from, and revamping the command center. Awesome. And if you're a Pathfinder, Judy, I don't remember off the top of my head if you are, but if you are a Pathfinder, we are adding in text messages for reminders. So that way you'll have reminders to check your action file on a regular basis. You'll have reminders for like little tiny small steps that you can take. You'll have little motivation, little fun text messages telling you that you're awesome, or little motivating thoughts for all the Pathfinders. That's a new thing that we just added. So super fun. Yep, Judy says, yes, I am a Pathfinder. I thought so. I was pretty sure that you were, but I was not 100% sure. Yay. So yeah, check your email because we just sent you an email about all of the new stuff that we just added for Pathfinders too. Yay. Lynn says, oh, good morning from Topeka. She likes the lives and also that they're taped so she can revisit later if needed. Yes. Because you can't always watch the whole live or you might miss some, right? Susan says, not perfect, but so much better. That's exactly what we're going for. Well put. Well put. Not perfect, but so much better. That's success to me. And if you're doing that every day, then every day it gets so much better and so much better, even if it's just a small bite. Because it's one tiny step each day that's going to make the biggest change in your life. Because, okay, I'm going to get off track here, but this is one of the things that I absolutely love about the challenges and about things like the paper path is the way that if you do consistent small steps, even if they're just one tiny thing, like filing one paper or making one decision on a paper or deciding what supplies for a command center. When you're doing one small tiny bite every day, it actually changes the way you think without trying. So you could read 100 organizing books to try to learn a new way of thinking and really digest that new way of thinking. Or you could take tiny steps each day that are focused on organizing or making progress on things like papers. And that's going to actually benefit you more than those 100 books, because that's going to change the way that your brain thinks and give you that practice, that tiny bit of practice every single day. And it makes it all start to become easier. The thoughts become easier, they become automatic, and you just simply become organized without trying. So that's why I break everything up into really tiny steps, because it's my trick to help you change the way that you think without even realizing that you're changing the way that you think. Even if you're just reading the tasks each day for a challenge, even just reading those tasks is still changing the way you think. So keep up those little tiny steps. You're doing awesome. Yeah, and Judy says, hard to keep up with everyone. There is no need to keep up with anyone. There is no deadline. There is no rush. Do things on your time. If you're just taking the tiny step each day, then you're doing absolutely everything that you need to do. And if you miss a day here and there, that's okay. There is no deadline. So you are doing amazing, just as you are, Judy. Hey, Cindy, she says, progress, not perfection. Absolutely. And Lynn says, daily focus and a habit. That's how you create all those habits. Perfect. So if you have any other questions or comments, I love your comments, especially all of my Pathfinders who, you guys know all of my love of these small steps. Share how that's worked for you, because I think that's one of the biggest takeaways for everybody, that the small steps make a big difference over time. But another thing that I wanted to share with you, we talked about small containers and making sure that there's a purpose for them. The other concept that when you're looking around at the flow of things through your house and where things accumulate, think about on your surfaces or even in a container, one thing attracts more things. So if you imagine that, for example, if you have a problem with your kitchen table gathering things, if your kitchen table is either A, completely cleared off and there's not a single thing on it, not even a decoration, if it's completely empty, then it takes longer for that one thing to hit. And then once that one thing hits, then it's like a magnet and like the whole universe sucks onto that kitchen table and it accumulates really fast, because as soon as you add one thing to a surface or into a space, that's when it's like a magnet for all of the other things. So with a kitchen table, you could either keep it completely bare, not put a single thing on it. This also works for a kitchen counter or an entry table, or something like a kitchen table. You can even keep it set, like with a really nice table setting with the placemats and the dishes and fancy napkins and everything. Keep it set really beautifully in between meals. And you can always change out the dishes and give them a quick rinse before the next meal. But that will also help keep you from using it as a dumping ground. You can't really do that with your kitchen counter. You don't want to keep your kitchen counter fully set, but it works well with the kitchen table if you want to avoid it becoming a dumping ground. And then just make sure, usually those tables and counters, it's paper. So make sure that your action file is in that area, so you have an alternative, easy place to put all of these things so they don't become piles of guilt and piles of fear. That's what paper piles are. They're kind of guilt and fear in pile form. Linda says that she's new to the page. What's a Pathfinder? Okay, so a Pathfinder is a member of the Paper Path, which actually this morning enrollment just opened again. It only opens a couple times a year. That's where you can enroll in the Paper Path. But the Paper Path is a program where it's one tiny step at a time that I lead you through to organize all of the papers in your home. Everything from the incoming papers and mail all the way through to your most important papers. We hit the filing cabinet. We hit how to sort your papers easily if you have a bunch of old papers to sort. Every single thing broken down into super tiny steps. So you just do one step at a time, and it takes you through the whole process. And if you're a Pathfinder, If you're one of the members, then we also have live work sessions. We have fun motivational text messages. We have webinars to go really in depth in topics. We have a whole bunch of other fun stuff, a private Facebook group. So we have a whole lot of fun doing it. So that's what a Pathfinder is. Great question. Lynn says, I see the whole picture and can't think of where to start. The paper path showed me it's okay to start small. Oh, that is beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. I love that. And it's so true. You don't need to know all of the steps. And with the paper path, you can trust that all the steps are laid out for you. So if you are trying to organize all of your papers and it's overwhelming because it seems like a massive project and you're not sure what order to do all the steps in, and you're not sure if you know all of the steps coming up, then that is okay. You only need to know the next step. So you can either do it on your own, and that's absolutely fine. If you want to organize all of your papers on your own, remember, it's only the next step that you need to know. And once you've done that next step, you can figure out what the next step is after that. If you don't even want to figure out what the next step is, if you want to be told, okay, do this next, do this next, do this next, that's when the paper path is really, really helpful, because it just helps you not have to worry about what the next step is. It makes sure that you don't miss any steps. It takes you from point A all the way to point finished. And with the membership, it helps you actually finish. I don't know about you, but I know I have bought courses before online and I've never finished because I kind of forget. I lose motivation partway through and I kind of forget to go back to it, or I just kind of lose interest after a while. So the membership that you can get along with the paper path course, that helps you actually get to the finish line because you're not doing it alone. There's something about working with a group. You're more likely to actually finish and stay involved and keep going if you've got other people who are doing it with you and who might notice if you're not on the lives anymore and stuff like that. Someone says, we're learning a new life process. Absolutely. Yes, Judy, it's like rabbits. Paper rapidly multiplies. It does. Oh my goodness. It's like bunnies in the middle of the night. Hey, Eloise, good to see you. And Elaine says the action file and Spark binder moving from the kitchen table to the desk in her new command center. Yay! Oh, that's going to be wonderful for you. I love it. Judy says it's worth it to join the Paper Path membership. Oh, thank you. I know you're awesome. You are doing amazing work. Maureen says that she set up a simple 2-wire basket in and out for mail. Awesome. And her husband used it today. It's a win-win. Did you celebrate like inside? Did your heart just like jump? I know whenever I set something up and it actually works and my family uses it, like the action file, oh my goodness, I'm so excited. I'm like, this is actually going to last. Rita says, hi, do you know how long to keep important papers like your income taxes? I'm not going to go into how long to keep specific papers during this live session. That could take up the entire session. But I know on the IRS website, it does list how long to keep your income taxes. If you go to the IRS website, I think it's irs.gov, and you can search how long to keep tax paperwork and their articles will come up. Also, if you are a Pathfinder, I can't remember, Rita, if you are, if you're a Paper Path member, then with that membership, we have the Papers database. And that Papers database is a website where you can look up answers to everything. And it has, how long do you keep your income taxes? And I wrote out exactly what I recommend, what the IRS says. I summarize it for you, so you don't have to read like the long, boring IRS article. But that Papers database is like gold. So if you're not sure how long to keep something, you look it up in the database. And if it's not in the database, there's a little place that you can enter in what you're looking for, and I will add it. So if you're a Pathfinder, log into your library and you'll see the Papers database right there, and you can click on it. Oh, somebody said Sip and Sort. Yes, the Sip and Sort is one of our live sessions. It's being renamed. We're going to be calling it the Campfire Chat, but that's a fun session where you bring a project and you work side by side with everybody. It makes such a difference, right? Sue's doing baby steps so far. And hey, Cindy. Cindy says, I'm here, Cindy from Oklahoma, a dormant Pathfinder due to life events and now ready to get started. Oh, I'm so glad that you're ready to get started again. I know you had a rough time for a bit there. And thank goodness you're kind of getting back on track and getting a breath of air again. And we're here for you. We're absolutely here for you. With the Paper Path, with the membership, you can put it on hold for a couple months if you ever have a life event that you need to kind of pause. and we'll kind of hold your membership for a few months for you. So that way you can take a deep breath and then get back on track. And that's normal though. You know, like I don't know anybody who can just hit something hardcore and focus on it for months at a time without taking a break. I don't think that's healthy. So it's really good to sometimes just take a step back and give yourself a guilt-free break. You're so welcome, Cindy. Yeah, do what you need to do for a life event, but also sometimes just take a break for you. Say, you know what, this week I'm doing nothing with my papers, and that is okay. And I forgive myself. And that's much healthier because when you allow yourself a guilt-free break where you don't feel bad that you're not doing other things that you feel like you should do, then that is much more refreshing, and that will help you come back better than if you take a break but you feel guilty the whole time and you don't let yourself truly take that break. Oh, Janelle says, hi, I love your live sessions. Brings me back to facing my paper issues. Oh, awesome. And Janelle, I'm pretty sure you're a Paper Path member. I'm like 99.9% positive you're a Pathfinder, which I love seeing all of your progress. I've seen you in so many of the groups sharing your stuff. I love it. Rita says, thanks for the information. I've learned a lot from watching you. Yay, that's what I want. That's what I want. I love sharing this information because I was not born organized. So this did not come easily for me. I struggled and I had really big problems with depression and anxiety and my own confidence and self-worth because of a lot of my organizing issues growing up. So once I learned some of the organizing techniques that worked for me, because a lot of the traditional organizing was just, it was overwhelming and it was too rigid for me. It made it really hard for me to maintain some of those traditional methods. So I had to create a lot of my own methods and new mindsets. And those mindsets and methods are what I love to teach because I find that there are so many other people like me. I didn't know it at the time. There's so many other people like me who the traditional, only touch it once and you must do it this way doesn't work. So I love to share that, and teaching it is like my passion. And if anybody does want to join the Paper Path, now is absolutely the time. Let me show you here. There we go. So I'll show you just a couple things about the Paper Path, but right now enrollment is open. It's only open for the week, for this 1 week, and then it closes again until next year. So this is your only chance to enroll in the Paper Path. But the Paper Path is just, it's all those small steps laid out for you to organize all of the papers in your home. So the course part, it has a success map. So you know exactly how you're going to organize your papers. We're going to do it one step at a time. First, you just do the welcome video. Then we tackle your incoming papers. We walk you through the action file. If you've already got that set up, you've already completed the incoming papers section. So you can do a quick review of it and then move on. Then we do the quick sort. I teach you the onion method, which you've probably heard me talk about the onion method before. Everybody seems to love hearing the onion method, and it's one of those aha moments. Then we go into the fancy filing cabinet, and I actually give you blueprints based on your personality type, how to lay out your filing cabinet. We talk about short-term, long-term files, how to set up self-purging file folders and get it all set up for you. And I tell you exactly how to do it for your type. Then we talk about our important papers, make sure that you have everything at your fingertips in an emergency or as soon as you need it, and you know where all your important papers and data are. And then we finish with your special papers. So recipes and receipts and all those random things that don't fit in other categories. So you have everything laid out in an online library for you to just go step by step. And then within the steps, I do a lot of videos also, just short videos to explain things more in depth, like that onion method for sorting. That's probably our most popular video that people love. And then I have some downloads that make the entire paper process easier. Things like the paper policy, so you can make decisions only once and know exactly what you decided, where to store it, and all of that good stuff. Then in addition to the course, if you wanted the extra support to make sure that you get to that finish line, that's when the membership is really helpful. So you can do just the course on your own, but if you wanted the extra community and help and motivation, then you can add on the membership, which has the private Facebook group. That's where we all get around, we chat, we have our games and challenges. So once a month we do a paper-focused game or challenge, like paper bingo or the to-do challenge for our action file. Then I do the live events. I told you about the group hike and the campfire chat. Those are some really good ways to get on your calendar some focused time. Even if you can't make it live, then the replays are right there in your online library and you can watch the replay later. Even if you could make it live, you can watch the replay again. And it's like being live, working next to people. And we also do topic webinars where I go really in depth into one of the milestones in the course. So I give you extra tips and explain things even deeper and answer all of your questions. Plus that paper's database. I told you about like how long to keep income taxes. It has all of those different things. And finally, the text messages. So you can sign up. It's up to you. It's optional. But get text messages sent to you. This is something that we're adding on at the end of the month. But you will get text messages sent to your phone with little quick baby steps that you can take, reminders, motivations, all of that good stuff. And of course, with the membership, you get extra access to me. So you can reach me by email, through the Facebook group. We have a phone number, whatever you need. So if you are interested in the paper path, now is your chance, because enrollment, like I mentioned, is only available until the end of next week. It closes on not tomorrow, Sunday, but next Sunday. So make sure that if you do want to join, that you get in now. So once it's closed, you can't join again this year. Another thing that you might be interested in, tomorrow, we're doing a virtual organizing session. One of those work sessions, kind of like the group hike. It's a 2-hour session. And whether you're a Pathfinder or not, you're absolutely invited to tomorrow's work session. So you can register for the virtual organizing session. You can either grab the link, write down the link from the screen, or on my website, SuzannaKaye.com. If you go to the top right, the events calendar, then you'll also see the virtual organizing session there. You can register for free really quick. And then tomorrow we're just meeting on Zoom. You can bring whatever project you want. Oh, mail must be here. Nice chihuahua. Hold on one second. Hey guys, can we not be loud? Nope. Here. You guys get to meet the chihuahua today. We just saw the mailman. It's craziness. But yes, so you can register for the live. Hey, thank you. Thank you. Good boy. Thank you. Good boy. All right. All that being said, you can register for the live work session, and it's tomorrow from 11 Eastern time to 1 Eastern time. You don't have to stay for the whole time. You can join late if you need to, leave early. But that work session is a great chance to put something on your calendar, to have some focus time, and we're all just going to work side by side with each other on either a paper task or an organizing task, whatever you want. That'll be enough. Cindy says, oh, actually, Janelle said, yes, I am. She is a Pathfinder. I was sure that you were. I didn't want to be absolutely wrong. Cindy says, one of my biggest challenges has been committing to one, not 20 different methods. I'm so excited and ready to commit. Now tossing out all my other method printouts. Yay! And it's true. There are so many different pieces of information out there and so many different ways that everybody tells you to do things. It's really nice. I find that even though, like with my business, I know a million different ways to do something, having a course where it just simply tells me, okay, like I decide which one I'm going to trust and I just go for it and I walk through their steps and they lay it out for me, helps so much, because sometimes it's overwhelming with all of the information out there. Okay, well, what order do I put it in? Which one do I go for? So that's awesome, Cindy. Yeah, having just one method that you decide to just stick with, see it through the end. And the nice thing is you can adjust it to work for you if there are any like tweaks that you need to make. And with the paper path, if you need to adjust something and you're not sure how, you can also ask me. So I'm right there for you. Judy says, yeah, I agree, Cindy. Too many courses gets confusing. Yeah, just pick one, focus on it for a while and go for that. Carla says, love the pups. Yep, they are definitely a handful, but wonderful. So here's me too. She's 4 months old in 2 days and chewing on my buttons. But this is our little girl who makes her appearance a lot these days because she's still needy and loud. You gonna be good now? You gonna be good? Yes, be a good girl. All right. Well, you guys have all been absolutely amazing. I think that I covered all the stuff that I wanted to make sure to cover today. I'm going to also do a live session on Thursday. So Thursday at 11, and let me make sure that I tell you the right thing. Yep, we're talking about getting unstuck and how to keep moving forward when you feel stuck, when you're not sure where to restart or to start to begin with. Then Thursday at 11 Eastern, I'm doing a live again in the group. But most of all, join me tomorrow. That virtual organizing session is going to be so much fun. We'll throw on some music. And like somebody says, bring your coffee tomorrow morning and work on a project with great music. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm going to use my favorite playlist tomorrow, I think. I'm in the mood for my favorite playlist. Cindy says, thanks, Suze. You're absolutely welcome. So I love you all so much. Keep being amazing. If you still have any questions, feel free, even if you're watching the replay, ask them in the comments of this video. Give me a like and a love on this video if you've been enjoying them. Eloise says, what time again? Okay, so tomorrow the time is 11 a.m. Eastern time. So like the New York side of the US time, 11 a.m. until 1. And if you can't get there right on time or if you need to leave early, that's absolutely okay. But make sure to register. So go to the SuzannaKaye.com site, and on the event calendar, you can find the registration link, or you can pause this video replay and write that down, SuzannaKaye.live instead of .com. Register virtual organizing session. And that way you can register for that session, and then I'll send you the link and everything. All right. Well, you guys are all so, so welcome. Check out the paper path. If papers have been stressful for you, it honestly is life-changing. And this is the method that I used when I was learning to get organized. I had to create this process and this method for myself. So I'm really excited to share it with you. Hop over and check that out. And I love you all so much. You're so welcome. I love you. And yes, and somebody asked, Thursdays also 11 a.m. Eastern. It is. Try to be consistent with, either 11 a.m. or 6 p.m. so that it makes it a little bit easier. I do my best. I love y'all. Bye.